It's a Victory Monday here on Philadelphia Eagles now as the Birds are 4-0. Coming up on today's show, we're recapping Philadelphia's epic overtime win against the Commanders. First, though, we continue to set records and make history right here on this program. The most views ever for a watch party yesterday against the Washington Commanders. 136,000 people tuned in throughout the afternoon. We picked up nearly 2,000 subscribers. Welcome to the show, all you real ones. And we're sitting here at 55,500 subs in total. If you want Eagles news and analysis every single day, I'm your boy for that. This is the channel for you. Hit that sub button. And with that, let's start the show on this Victory Monday. And today's Philadelphia Eagles now is sponsored by True Classic. Use the promo code ChatSports25 to get 25% off your order. I'm wearing one of their polos now. I also really like their athletic wear. I've worn some of their t-shirts. The boxer briefs, also very important. So look, fall is here, and that means one thing. It's time to break out my favorite jeans, t-shirts, sweatshirts from True Classic. It's added so much to my wardrobe. And let's be real, when you get to wear a hoodie and some jeans in the fall, watching some football, that's a vibe right there. Watching some college football, getting some drinks with the homies on a Saturday, that's the perfect fit. And you can get the perfect fit in multiple ways with True Classic. Football season in full swing. Nothing better than watching your favorite squads with ultra comfortable, perfect fitting essentials. Whatever you choose from True Classic, you can't go wrong. All their clothing designed to be versatile and work with your lifestyle so that you can look and also feel your best. Like the Eagles in those midnight greens at the link as it was rocking on Sunday. In fact, True Classic, so committed to their products, they even have a 100% risk-free guarantee and easy returns. So here's the deal for the Bird Gang right here on Eagles Now. If you're ready to make the easiest fall upgrade now, shop at TrueClassicTees.com. Promo code ChatSports25. TrueClassic.com/ChatSports25. Use that promo code ChatSports25 for that deal to apply. All right. Quick word from our sponsor. Appreciate all of the real ones for hanging out with us on this Victory Monday. Let's get the official show started. And from this point on, unfiltered Eagles analysis. The good against Washington. We're also going to talk about the bad as well because there is some bad, even though Philadelphia, one of two teams in the NFL, still 4-0, joining alongside the San Francisco 49ers. I think point number one here, Jalen Hurts was clutch. Week 1 against New England, Week 2 against the Vikings, Week 3 against the Bucs, Week 4 against the Commanders. Hurts has gotten better and better and better in each and every game. And really what you're looking for one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, and what you're looking for in a franchise quarterback is the clutch gene. And Jalen Hurts has the clutch gene. It's incredible how he's a flatliner in some of these big moments, how he's always cool, calm, and collected. And you look at the numbers from yesterday, 25 at 37. I thought it was the most efficient that he was in throwing the football this year. 319 yards. Washington, a good defensive line, pretty solid secondary. Didn't matter because that connection, especially from Hurts to A.J. Brown, was unstoppable. 2 touchdowns, no picks. So the first game this year in which Hurts has not turned the football over, a rating clocking in at 112.3, yards per completion at 8.6. When you're trying to put together your guide for the perfect quarterback, right? There are a lot of different attributes and skills that you look for in your assessment, right? And if you're to build a quarterback in a lab, some of the things that you're looking for, cool, calm, and collected, team leader, always taking accountability, that assassin look in Jalen Hurts' eyes is something that really replicates his idol in Michael Jordan. He had that late in the game, and he wasn't deflated after he threw that long touchdown pass to A.J. Brown to take the lead, and then the Commanders came back. And overtime, what's he doing? Continuing to deal. And him playing well in some of these critical moments, making some huge clutch throws, that's a great thing for Philadelphia. We're still talking about a young quarterback here, and the Tom Brady's of the world are the guys who were really remembered for doing that throughout the entire course of their careers. And Jalen Hurts, up to this point, when he needs to rise up in a big moment, more times than not, he's able to do that. And I kind of want to go on a little bit of a rant here. Don't you dare ever tell me that quarterback wins are not a quarterback stat. Jalen Hurts is 21-1 in his last 22 regular season starts. Playing the quarterback position, you have to face the most pressure among all positions in all of sports. The team looks at you as the leader. They follow your lead. So when you're cool, calm, and collected in a really tense moment and you're still able to perform, that rubs off on your teammates because then there's never any other panic out there. And why do we talk about Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, John Elway, Patrick Mahomes as great quarterbacks throughout the great history of this league? Part of that is them winning games. We remember Tom Brady as the quarterback who won 7 Super Bowls. We remember Joe Montana as the guy who won, 5, 6 Super Bowls. We remember Peyton Manning for finally getting over the hump and winning those 2. Eli Manning in this division is known for the 2 clutch Super Bowl performances that he had against the New England Patriots. Why do we talk about those quarterbacks as having a legacy? Because they win games, and Jalen Hurts wins games. The fact that he is 21-1 in his last 22 regular season starts, we are witnessing a very special run in the course of franchise history where we haven't had a team really have sustained success like this as far as being this dominant and finding multiple ways to win in multiple games. And really, through 4 games for Philadelphia, that's our identity. They've been able to win a couple of different ways. And going back to the nature that Jalen Hurts is able to possess, right? When it's late in the game, when he has to make a big throw, or him just never being content with being good because he always wants to be great and not settling on previous accomplishments. Look, the game is over here. Jake Elliott hits a 54-yard field goal, and Jalen Hurts is like, we got it. Our one job was to come here to win. We did that. It's on to the next. That is the look of a stone-faced killer, a guy who is so even keel when the tide can get bumpy. And that's a great quality to have as a quarterback. The Hurts drives that I loved yesterday, and really the throws that I love, because there was that one, like Eli Manning to Mario Manningham throw along the sideline in the Super Bowl against the Patriots that A.J. Brown's running down the sideline. You drop it in beyond the cornerback and in between the safety as the safety comes up. That throw along the sideline, big league. And then the Hurts drive that I love, 2:30 left in the fourth quarter. He sticks that 3rd and 8 throw in between 2 defenders to Olamide Zaccheaus. Let me say once again, better than Quez Watkins, to convert that first down. Zaccheaus able to overcome that drop that he had a few plays earlier. The throw there in between those 2 defenders was incredible. Tight window. It took some stones to make it, and Hurts delivered it. It was a strike. The next play, the 1st and 10 A.J. Brown dig, that was one that I really liked. 11 yards where he had that good connection with A.J. on that comebacker, and he's able to throw it with a little anticipation. And then moments later, 1:49 left, tied ball game, 24-24. Hurts, perfect placement on the 28-yard touchdown throw to A.J. Brown, who had a great day, and we'll talk about him in a moment. Lane Johnson, right tackle, able to pass protect right on that right side of line of scrimmage. That allowed Jalen Hurts to have a pocket to step up, make that throw, and he dropped it in the bucket. Accuracy, clutch gene, leadership skills. That's what Jalen Hurts possesses right now, and that's why the Eagles are in a great position with him as their franchise quarterback. Mr. Cool. He now has 5 game-winning drives in his career, and really, you can make it 6, right? Because you can count what he did in the fourth quarter to me as a game-winning drive. 24-24, 28-yard touchdown run, 3rd and 8 throw to Zaccheaus, maneuvering downfield, matriculating downfield to get 7 on the board with an explosive play as a cherry on top. That's big boy quarterbacking right there. Now, if you're pumped up about this 4-0 win, everybody should be, right? Fly, Eagles, fly, go Birds. I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video right now. The good number 2 against Washington. A.J. Brown, unstoppable in this football game. Really was unbelievable. And whether he was on Emmanuel Forbes or any of the other corners that the Commanders had on A.J. Brown's side, he bided them up, brought down some 50-50 balls, sprung free in the open field, made plays happen after the catch. His ability, the elusiveness, the power, the strength, the speed, the getaway ability in the open field after the catch is really, really special. And I think he's really underrated in that regard. Like, you look at how he operates in the open field, a guy like Deebo Samuel, like, they are special players with the ball in their hands. And that's probably why AJ to start the season was a little bit frustrated, because he realizes, look, throw up a 50-50 ball to me, and I'm going to come down with it. Find me a way to get some space in the open field. I'm going to make yards happen after the catch. 9 catches, 13 targets against the Commanders yesterday, a $175, second straight game in which he's gone over 100, along a 59. That touchdown catch and run was just ridiculous. And then the stutter go on Emmanuel Forbes on that aforementioned Jalen Hurts clutch ball, which is one of the finest throws of his career, given the situation and the time and the place, was great. 2 touchdowns on the day for AJ. So this connection here with Hurts and Brown the last 2 games has really resulted in the Eagles' passing offense starting to make those strides that we talked about, that we said last week. The signs are coming. They just need to put it all together. And look, 34 points is 34 points. That's pretty damn good for the Eagles. Have a career. Jake Elliott. Look, kickers are people too, and Jake Elliott is doing something really special. And it's a pleasure as an Eagles fan to really go from a guy like David Akers, who was here for so long, and then a guy like Jake Elliott, who's been here now since 2017. Jake Elliott is carving out a very special career as a place kicker in the history of this organization, and as Nick Sirianni said after the game, he has become Mr. Clutch. And this is yet another moment in the career of Jake Elliott in which the big boys are lifting him up. 70,000 at the Link is rocking and rolling after a huge win on a walk-off field goal, and it's not the only big kick that he's had in his career as an Eagle. Key Jake Elliott moments here. Appreciate that you have security at kicker. When you don't, it becomes a disaster for you, and you're able to lose games because of that. The 61-yarder at the buzzer to beat the Giants in 2017, walk-off in Week 3, that really got the Eagles' momentum and confidence going that year, which resulted in the Super Bowl. The Eagles were able to reel off all those wins, thanks in part to Jake Elliott pushing them to another victory, 3-0, and that got the train moving ahead. And then in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, this guy's a Super Bowl champion. He was 3 of 3 against New England, a big kick of 40-plus yards, and then the 54-yarder to beat the Commanders. Again, these are only some of the moments that he's had, but look at how efficient he's been over the last 2 years. Jake Elliott is 33 of 37 on all of his field goal tries, 4 of 5 on kicks of 40 to 49 yards, 9 of 11 on kicks of 50-plus yards. This guy is special, man. As for Nicholas Morrow, let's talk some defense here. I see you, Nicholas Morrow. You didn't make the initial 53-man roster. When the Eagles signed him in free agency, I kind of liked it. He played for a bad Bears defense last year, had over 100 tackles, so he was active after missing the previous season because of an injury, while with the Raiders, 11 tackles for loss. And those 11 tackles for loss, that told me Sean Desai going to get creative with using him as a blitzer, with using him around the line of scrimmage to make some plays happen, because he has a knack for making plays. And now this is 3 consecutive weeks in which Nicholas Morrow, I thought, has played some really good football. 3 sacks yesterday as a delayed blitzer, like the wrinkle there from Sean Desai. We'll talk about that Eagles defense here in just a bit down the road. The Eagles did have 5 sacks as a team, so that is good. They had 8 in the previous 3 games going into this week. We talked about how the Commanders' offensive line was atrocious. They are, especially on the interior. Eagles 5 sacks, not too shabby. I thought that their coverage on the back end, Washington's game plan was very smart. They got the ball out of the hands of Sam Howell very, very quickly. Coming up next here on the show, those are 5 good things and a lot of observations that I had with that game yesterday as the Eagles still unbeaten. Coming up next, though, the bad from the Eagles win and why there are reasons to be concerned going into Week 5 on the road against the Los Angeles Rams. First, though, shout out to some of my true fans who watch the show. Christine Reardon said after the watch party yesterday, "You are truly the worst ever. Glad that you can spell Eagles." So I responded and I said, "Thanks, Christine. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I love hearing from my fans." So let's give a shout out to Karen. She said, "At least you're smart enough to spell Eagles. So let's do it all together and let's spell it out again for Karen Christine. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Proper spelling right there, Miss Karen. The bad against Washington. And type E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles in the chat as well. The bad against the Commanders. I'm definitely concerned about Josh Jobe. Second consecutive game in which he's had to play outside cornerback with Darius Slay on the other side. I think it's time for Philadelphia here to quit with that experiment. I think that Joe might be better suited on the inside. I worry about his athleticism. I worry about his instincts to make plays against premier wide receivers on the outside. The game-tying touchdown at the end of regulation for Washington. 0 seconds left to Jahan Dotson. Good back shoulder ball from Sam Howell. But Job kind of lost his leverage there. Washington picked him apart. And when you go up against teams like the Commanders that have a couple of really good wide receivers, they're going to continue to target him. But if you either move him on the inside or you experiment with Eli Ricks, and then you put James Bradbury back outside and you have Darius Slay on the outside, that helps out your secondary a little bit because you need some help in that secondary because this is a perfect segue point. Do the Eagles trade for a cornerback or a safety? Avonte Maddox being out has kind of sneakily been a big injury loss for Philadelphia here, and the safety play is not good. Like, I really like Reed Blankenship. He's very good. He can hang around. That interception 2 weeks ago of Baker Mayfield, he read his eyes. He made the pick. An instinctual player who can play. I like him. The issue is the other starting safety next to Reed Blankenship. Justin Evans didn't play yesterday. Neck injury hasn't been good. Terrell Edmonds, I'm not sure how he's drafted in the first round by the Pittsburgh Steelers because he has not been good, although I did defend him for hitting Sam Howell on that late hit out of bounds that was whistled. By the way, the refs yesterday, awful. What are you supposed to do when Howell's trying to get that first down marker and he's still in bounds? Of course you want to hit him to him avoiding getting the line to gain. Either way, in coverage though, Terrell Edmonds, not good. Had that dropped interception early in that game. That's how you make your lives a little bit easier. You capitalize on some of those mistakes. In Philadelphia, back-to-back plays, drop pick by Terrell Edmonds, couldn't pounce on the football in the end zone. On that Brian Robinson giveaway, Commanders fell on top of it. I think it was Terry McLaurin, and all of a sudden, the tune of the game changed. So, bad safety play, bad cornerback play, you can count me as concerned. And then lastly, the defense. Where were you? You know, in week 1 against New England, the Eagles' defense really helped pace the Birds as the offense wasn't playing that well. Week 2, I thought they were really solid against the Vikings, forcing turnovers. Week 3 against the Bucs, they really got after it. Defensive line has been very good. This was by far their worst game as a defense, though, and I didn't really like how the Eagles kind of sat back in coverage. Now, yes, they had 5 sacks, and Sam Howell improvisationally made some really good throws, and the game plan for Washington, let's not get Howell sacked 9 times like he was the previous week against the Buffalo Bills. We have to get the ball out a little bit more quickly, but the Eagles kind of sat back, and I didn't like the lack of aggressiveness there. And the Eagles' running defense, kind of the worst performance. Now, I understand, throughout the course of a 17-game season, you're going to have the offense play really well one game, the defense carries you the next, and the defense didn't do much today, on Sunday. They didn't play well, but at least the Eagles' offense was able to score 34 points. And this is what's concerning to me. It was the long drives for Washington that did include time of possession, but also that and a combination of some explosive plays. Like, these are all of the Commanders' scoring drives. As you look at the drive chart, first quarter, first drive of the game, 14 plays, 75 yards, 7:08. They go up 7-0. Second quarter, Eagles tie it up. DeAndre Swift touchdown at 7-7. They go 7 plays, 75 yards, and only 3:21 to take the lead. And then in the fourth quarter, your defense can't give up these types of 11 and 10 play drives, 75 and 64 yards, 1-6-14 to tie the game. The other, a minute 43 at the end of regulation to send it into overtime against some elite quarterbacks in the NFL. That's how the Eagles lost that Super Bowl last year to Patrick Mahomes. So if you're doing this against Sam Howell, that's a little bit of an issue. And the Eagles have to get it corrected with the Rams coming up week 5. Cross-country trip. You're going up against an offense, and that includes Matthew Stafford. He's been slinging the rock so far this year. We know that he's capable of putting up a bunch of yards. And if Howell can get rid of the ball quickly, accurately, and pick up a lot of yards, like, that is the strength of Matthew Stafford. So you got to get it corrected because you can't have that lull and that down game and lose to the Rams week 5. It just cannot happen. Injury news to get to before we round out of here. Cam Jurgens, week to week with a foot injury. He suffered that injury during yesterday's game. Sua Opeta came in, and I just did see a tweet from Jeff McClain that it's going to be kind of a week-to-week thing for Cam Jurgens, and he's been playing pretty solid at right guard. Now, Sua Opeta did step in, and they played. He played very well. What's also interesting is that the Eagles only had to play, I think, 6 offensive linemen last year. So already they're on a different offensive line combination as the injuries hitting this team on the interior of that Eagles offensive line. Feel free to interact with me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Chase_Senior, on Instagram as well, at Chase_Senior. I put the clip of Jake Elliott's game-winning field goal on my Instagram. If you comment on it, I'll show you some love in the Instagram comments. Appreciate the follow as well. Go Birds. Eagles are 4-0. Keep it locked here for great coverage all throughout the week.